In the vibrant halls of Maplewood High School, where numbers danced on chalkboards and equations whispered secrets to eager minds, there lived a peculiar bunch of fractions. They weren't your ordinary fractions. No, they were fractions with personalities as colourful as the markers they were written with. Here is Fractions. Fred, a jolly fellow with a liking for pies, always boasting about his generous halves and hearty wholes. Then there's modest Molly, who preferred to keep things simple, with her humble thirds and unassuming quarters. Oh, and let's not forget ambitious Alex, the daring daredevil of decimals who dreamed of soaring to the heights of one whole. Now these fractions weren't just content with their numerical identities. They yearned for recognition, for validation of their worth in the grand scheme of mathematics. And so, one fateful day, as the sun peeked through the windows of Mrs. Johnson's bustling math classroom, the fractions decided to settle the age-old argument of who among them was the biggest and the best. It all began with a boast from Fractions Fred, his voice echoing through the room like a thunderclap on a clear day. "I am the mightiest of them all," he declared, puffing out his chest as he proudly displayed his cherished half. For what could be grander than a perfect split, a flawless division of wholes? Modest Molly chuckled softly, twirling her dainty thirds between her fingers. "Oh, dear Fred, you may claim the title of half, but do not forget the beauty of simplicity. A third may be smaller, but it holds its own grace, its own elegance in the tapestry of fractions." Ambitious Alex, never one to shy away from a challenge, smirked as he brandished his decimal counterparts. "Ah, my dear friends, while you bicker over halves and thirds, I am reaching for the stars with my decimal friend. One whole may be our ultimate goal. But why stop there when the universe beckons with infinite possibilities?" And so the stage was set for a showdown of mathematical proportions. Fractions, Fred, modest Molly, and ambitious Alex squared off, each determined to prove their worth and claim the coveted title of the biggest fraction in Maplewood High. The classroom buzzed with anticipation as Mrs. Johnson looked on, her eyes twinkling with amusement. "Well, my little fractions," she said, her voice carrying a hint of mischief, "it seems you've quite a difficult problem on your hands. But fear not, for I have just the solution." With a wave of her wand eraser, Mrs. Johnson put forward a series of challenges, each designed to test the mettle of our enduring fractions. From addition races to subtraction showdowns, multiplication marathons to division duels, the classroom became a battlefield of mathematical prowess. Fractions Fred, ever the showman, dazzled the crowd with his lightning-fast calculations and boundless enthusiasm. Modest Molly, with her steady hand and unwavering resolve, proved that sometimes less is more. And ambitious Alex, fueled by his insatiable thirst for knowledge, blazed a trail of decimals, leaving his competitors in awe of his audacity. As the challenges raged on, the fractions found themselves locked in fierce competition, each refusing to back down in the face of adversity. But then, just when it seemed that victory was within reach, disaster struck. In the heat of the moment, Fractions Fred stumbled, his calculations faltering as he struggled to maintain his composure. Modest Molly, sensing an opportunity, surged ahead, her thirds flying faster than the speed of thought. And ambitious Alex, ever the opportunist, seized the moment, his decimals dancing across the chalkboard with precision and grace. But just as the challenge began to be calmer, a voice rang out above the chaos, a voice so loud, so clear, that it silenced the room instantly. It was Mrs. Johnson, her eyes twinkling with mischief as she looked upon her students with pride. "My dear fractions," she said, her voice soft but firm, It seems you've forgotten the most important lesson of all. That in the end, it's not the size of the fraction that matters, but the heart behind it. And with that, the fractions looked at each other with newfound understanding, their differences melting away like snowflakes in the springtime sun. At that moment, they realized that they were more than just numbers on a page. They were friends, comrades in arms in the great adventure of mathematics. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, fractions. Fred, modest Molly, and ambitious Alex joined hands and danced together beneath the glow of the moon, their laughter echoing through the halls of Maplewood High School for all eternity. In the end, they may have been fractions, but together they were infinite.